Thomas Latham here for IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella, Run Searing Centre for the public weigh-in. With me I've got promoter Eddie Hearn. How are we doing, Eddie?
Good, mate. Nice to see that the IFL branching out. Got new members on the firm now. They're international.
I think
England, Scotland, Marbella.
That's it. I think it's just temporary, don't worry, for all the IFL diehards. Glad to be back in Glasgow.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you see by the turnout today, you don't get those kind of turnouts at weigh-ins. Very few cities have the same kind of support and passion. And I can't wait. The atmosphere in the Hydro is going to be electric. Ricky's got a really tough fight, partly because the ROCCO's decent, and mainly because he's outside of his weight, really. We saw against Figueroa, who was more like a light middleweight on the night than a light welterweight, that it is difficult to overcome that. But he's in great shape. Like I say, he's got the people behind him. He looks fantastic. I've seen him weighing at these shopping centres before, looking very depleted at 135 pounds, and it was nice that today he was making weight, but this week. But the ROCCO was really tight at the weight, and it was nice to have that edge. But tomorrow night the ROCCO will be a lot heavier, and he may be stronger. So Burns has got to be smart, just keep the pressure on, and let the crowd bring him home.
It's in the title history in the making. Anytime you speak to Ricky Burns, he says that he doesn't give that any thought. Do you think the enormity of what he can achieve on Saturday night will sink in after the fight?
I think, Ricky's a kind of guy, I don't mean this disrespectfully, he's a simple guy who leads a simple life. He loves to fight, he loves his family, and he lives for the gym, he lives for that camaraderie, and he lives for boxing. So Ricky's happy fighting 4 and 6 rounders, and he knows what's on the line here. He knows where this fight can take him to, where it can take his career to. But I think he tries to just freeze that out and just think about it as a fight, as a competition, and he is a competitor. So I think he doesn't want to put the pressure on himself. Every time we come to Scotland, it seems to be, "Oh, Ricky, do you think that Scottish boxing you're carrying the weight on your shoulders?" He is. All the youngsters, Joe Ham, Charlie Flynn, Stuart Blurt, Lewis Pauling, are all just like, fingers crossed, please Ricky win, so we can come back, And I think that he's in a great position and a chance to make history. 3-weight world champions just don't happen anymore, and obviously, he can really cement his legacy in the sport, which I believe he's done already, but this would take him to another level.
Looking at the rest of the card, there's a great British title fight in undercard, Willie Lemon versus Tyrone Nurse. How do you see that one going?
I think it's a really tough fight for Willie Lemon. I think, again, he's got to use the home advantage, the crowd, the noise, the energy. Tyrone Nurse is really difficult to beat, and the Dave Ryan defeat really shocked me at the time. We'll go on and see how good Dave Ryan's become, but I think Willie's up against it. He's got to make the fight, he's got to make the pressure, and like I said, he's got to use the noise of the crowd and the energy to try and get him over the line. Very, very tough fight.
You said a fair bit of time out of the ring, Willie Lemon. He only came back in January. Do you think that's going to have an impact on the fight?
Yeah, I think it will. Although he's saying that, he should be fresh. I think it's a tough fight. I think Tyrone Nurse. The only thing is you don't know with the ROCCO as well how they're going to react in the intensity of the pressure and the noise and the environment. And if Tyrone can be a little bit nervous, and maybe that will work in Willie's favour. But a tough fight, he has to be on point tomorrow, Willie Lemon.
This is looking a bit far into the future, but if Willie and Ricky both were successful, is that a fight you, as a promoter, would be looking at?
Perhaps. I mean, you're talking about British level, you're talking about world level, so there might have to be another fight in between there. But if it's a big fight for Scotland and people want to see it, it could be an option. Victory for Ricky would really see him catapult himself onto the huge fights. Broner, Matisse, all kinds of Provodnikov, all kinds of light welterweights, and. I think they've both got a big job on their hands first, and we'll see where it goes from there.
It's not just Glasgow, we've got Liverpool on Sunday. How proud are you as a promoter to have 2 world title fights over the weekend?
It's great, I know a few things like that have been done before, but I don't remember a time in this country. It's challenging, but I think we're at a stage now where we've got to be pushing ourselves. And Saturday night at the Hydro is going to be special, and Sunday night at Goodison Park is going to be special. So it's a great time for British boxing, and I'm just pleased to be a part of it.
And just finally, before I let you go, it's came out in the news over the last 24 hours about Lucian Beauty. What's your thoughts on that? It seems to be happening every week now.
Surprised. I know Lucian quite well. Seems like a gentleman, seems like a competitor. A lot of these guys are working with nutritionists and strength and conditioning guys, and I'm not even sure they know what they're taking. You know, they're given supplements, they're given shakes, and that's tough because it's their responsibility ultimately. But it shocks me, it surprised me, it's disappointing for the sport. You know, I want fans to become disheartened thinking that all fighters are cheating, but you know, we've got a great system in the UK with random testing, and for me it's the only way to overcome it. You know, you've got to be random testing fighters during camp. You can't expect just to catch fighters on drug tests after the fight. It's a waste of time. So you know, I think it's disappointing, but you know, we move on.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining us. Away you go with it.
Cheers.